As former President Donald Trump's hush money trial begins here in Manhattan, there are many questions about what could come after the verdict.
As we've mentioned, Trump's the first former president to face criminal charges in court, but legal and political experts also weighing the implications of the fallout if jurors decide he's guilty. CBS 2 political reporter Marcia Kramer here now with that part of the story. Marcia.
Maurice and Christine, in many respects, this is uncharted territory. The only presidential candidate to run from prison was socialist Eugene Debs, though he did get 1 million votes without ever setting foot on the campaign trail. And while it's unclear what Trump's sentence would be if he's found guilty, the specter of a possible conviction is raising all kinds of questions, legal and political. If he's convicted, can Donald Trump vote for himself for president? It was just one of the many questions legal and political experts wrestled with as former President Donald Trump's hush money trial kicked off in a Manhattan courtroom. J.C. Polanco is a lawyer and political expert.
Well, remember, he's a registered voter in Florida, and as of now, the answer is no.
Absolutely no?
No.
Seems it's a penalty Trump faces for switching his voting address from New York, where he lived most of his life, to his Palm Beach golf course, Mar-a-Lago. Florida law says a convicted felon can't regain the right to vote until he has served his time and paid any fines, which he probably would not be able to do before the election. New York is apparently more lenient.
In New York State, he would still be allowed to vote. If he were serving a sentence, he would not be able to vote while serving that sentence.
But a conviction would not prevent him from running for president. According to the Constitution, there are only 3 requirements a presidential candidate must meet: be a natural-born citizen of the United States, be at least 35 years old, and have been a resident of the United States for 14 years. Experts say that even if he is convicted, it would be hard for Republicans to replace him on the ballot because he has already secured enough convention delegates to clinch the nomination. And with Trump ahead in most election polls right now, there are also questions about what would happen to the 3 other cases brought against him if he wins the election: election interference in Fulton County, Georgia, federal election interference, and federal documents charges.
In a case in which the president is facing trial in federal court, he can have his attorney general work to dismiss those cases against him. What's interesting is he can't touch those state decisions, the state issues to indict him. Can't touch those. So the question for the court will be, can he be convicted in state court while sitting president? I don't think that's going to be possible.
This as a new poll finds that New Yorkers are divided about whether he's actually done something illegal. According to the Marist College poll, 51% say he has broken the law. 27% say he's done something unethical but not broken the law. And 20% say he did nothing wrong. Meanwhile, the former president is using the trial to raise money, hoping to turn his travails into campaign gold. And he is trying to rake it in.
Yes, he is. Thank you, Marcia. Appreciate the update.